The following program is presented by
There's an epidemic happening in our nation today. It's happening in our neighborhoods, in our schools, even in our homes. It's happening in every city across America, and its effects are growing every day, and those effects are startling. I'm Al Roker, and I've joined forces with the Dancing Wheels Company and School and their partners to explore the ever-growing issue of bullying. Bullying is a universal issue that doesn't discriminate in terms of who it can affect. It crosses all races, ages, and gender, every man, woman, teenager, and child. Bullying is a widespread issue, and the negative effects are growing at an alarming rate. Shootings, suicides, isolation, fear, and a general feeling of loss is what many of us witness on an all too frequent basis. During this program, we're going to examine the sources and solutions that will help to bring an end to this pervasive and life-altering pandemic. We hope that at the conclusion of this program, you'll come together as a family, a neighborhood group, and as an entire community to pledge to take action against these antagonistic actions and stand up for the rights and respect of others. Let's start by taking a look at the source of these actions. How did we get to this place? How has our society reinforced and in some cases promoted this behavior? Our media, for example, oftentimes promotes shows that are centered on sarcasm, demoralizing language, even to the point of excessive screaming, all for entertainment's sake. Our news stories report on the tragedies that have occurred in our schools and communities, sensationalizing the worst in human behavior. In extreme cases, perpetrators mimic and even try to top those actions. In recent years, social media has put millions of people in touch with each other instantly, but also it's brought with it a wave of instant outbursts of anger and ridicule, without taking the time to think about the ramifications or the hurt to others. Ongoing and deep-seated discrimination is often handed down from generation to generation. This lack of understanding of other cultures, abilities, and origins make for insecurities and misperceptions, which can lead to isolation and loss of respect. So what is the solution? How do we change negative behavior? There are those who have discovered a new direction, who have taken from their experiences of segregation and separation to reclaim their dignity, self-esteem, and success. We started with the Dancing Wheels Company, which revealed their own experiences and thoughts while creating their newest production, Daring to be Dumbo, a modern-day version of Disney's popular tale of the elephant with oversized ears that was ostracized and shunned for his differences. In the company's modern-day version, which takes place in a junior high school, choreographer David Rosev reveals his strong desire to create this production based on his own experiences.
I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, and I was a member of the first class in Houston that was a part of forced desegregation by the city. And the schools in Houston were extremely segregated at that point. Although it wasn't legal, it was just geographic segregation. My mother, as a teacher, was also zoned into an all-white school. And I started in fourth grade going to schools where to say my race was in the minority would be the understatement of the century. In my high school class, there were 717 students, and there were 11 of us who were people of color. That was when I discovered the true meaning of difference. And I think the whole notion of mingling with people who are very different from you was a new idea for all of us, until I never felt like I was part of the group and also was ostracized. What I learned from that experience was completely invaluable. It was two things. One, how to deal with people who are different from you in a positive sense. I think that was actually the gift of it, was being forced into a place where you were very different from everyone else around you. It teaches you very quickly how to survive being different, and also how to be curious about people who are different from you. And I think both of those things were really invaluable lessons. I do feel that my work is reflective of those times on several different levels. For example, the piece Daring to be Dumbo is dealing with someone who is different from the crowd, who sticks out like a sore thumb, in this case for her big ears. You know, it takes place in a junior high school, her first day of junior high school. And so in making the piece, I realized, oh, this is literally autobiographical. So what I'm trying to do is really exploit the unique talents and abilities of theater to create that empathetic dialogue and to see oneself in a main character that's very different. And so to further that dialogue, but through the empathy of a theatrical lens.
Desiree Foster, who plays the lead character, expresses how she felt as she took on the character of Dumbo.
I was bullied in elementary school because I went to a primarily Caucasian school, and the students there thought because I was colored, you know, they treated me differently because of that fact. And at the time, I didn't think much of it, although I could feel that, you know, there was a separation. And then in middle school, I went to a primarily African American school, and then it was the opposite. I was ostracized for being lighter skinned. So although I've always been different, it's made me feel apart, I guess, in some cases, but it also makes me feel like I can fit in anywhere. When David cast me, well, when I was told that I was Dumbo in Daring to be Dumbo, I was really shocked and honored at the same time. I'm a representative of this movement that Dancing Wheels is taking, and I get to convey this student's experience in middle school and how they felt and what they went through, and also how to overcome it. When the role started to develop, I noticed that this character was more in a shell, and they were held back by their past, I would say. They didn't have any shoulder to cry on or someone to support them. And so they didn't quite know how to handle being bullied until someone they meet who becomes their friend supports them and helps them realize that they can do it, and they develop the confidence and the pride in order to achieve their goals. My views on bullying have absolutely changed because I didn't realize the differences between physical bullying and verbal bullying. And Dumbo, being the character Dumbo, really showed me the differences because there's more physical bullying in the production, and I had never experienced that as a child. When I was this character and was going through what other students might go through in everyday life, it absolutely changed my views. It also changed my perspective on how students deal with these things. I definitely think that dance and arts has helped me express myself. And if, let's say I was bullied in the morning during breakfast, and then I dance in the afternoon in a class, I forget completely about being bullied, and dance takes over. Some advice for people who are bullied is that use your words and communicate. If someone hurts you, let them know. And be confident, and don't let anyone stand in your way if there's something you want to achieve. Simply that. And for those who bully people, I say to them that imagine if it were you and how it would make you feel.
We'll be right back with Daring to be Dumbo, the documentary.
Cuyahoga Arts and Culture is proud to support this documentary through its Creative Culture Grants Program, which was created to increase access to vibrant arts and cultural activities for all Cuyahoga County residents. Cuyahoga Arts and Culture's mission is to inspire and strengthen the community by investing in arts and culture. To learn more about our work as the public funder for arts and culture in Cuyahoga County, visit cacgrants.org.
We now return to Daring to be Dumbo, the documentary.
Justin Bachman has Tourette syndrome. He and his family have dedicated their lives to bring people together for tolerance and acceptance.
I am 16 years old. I'm a junior at Solon High School, and throughout my life I've had a lot of things that have made me different, mainly medical conditions such as Tourette syndrome, ADHD, and dysgraphia, and through my differences I've really faced a lot of intolerance, and because of that I've decided that I want to do what I can with my life to make a difference for other people.
Before the age of 11, I had no idea what was going on. I had not been diagnosed with Tourette's. I had been misdiagnosed with many things. I was starting to feel like a lab rat because of all the medications I was being put on because of these differences that I had, and I had a lot of trouble making friends. And there was just a point where I said, maybe this place isn't for me. But thankfully, I was very unsuccessful, and I know now that this is the place that I will know and hopefully be able to change for the better.
The Tolerance Fair is an event that I've dedicated my life to. It's become my life's mission, and it all started back in 8th grade. Because of my Tourette syndrome, I was disqualified from a cross-country meet simply because of vocal tics that I was having. And from that day forward, I realized that I wasn't the only person being intolerated because of their differences. And I said, I don't want this to happen, not only to myself, but to other people at all. And so I thought, how am I going to do this? And from there I came up with an event where we would educate the public about people's differences, about ways they could volunteer, or give them resources for a challenge that they would be struggling with. And from that came the first 2 Tolerance Fairs and one that's coming up in 2014. For the people out there that are being bullied, that are just starting to go over it or don't know where to turn, I would say look around and don't only see the negatives. See the people that are there that are trying to stand up for you, even if they aren't doing it in a way that you think. Maybe they're doing something without you being there, something like that. There's always somebody that's going to be there to help you. And another word of advice is you're not alone. I know myself, I've gone through it, and I've used the experiences of being bullied and being intolerated to gain strength in them and share my story so others don't have to experience it. And I didn't know that there were other people out there when I was in 3rd grade, when I was in 4th grade, and I felt like I was alone. And that was why I had found myself depressed, because I didn't think anyone else knew what I was going through until I got into about 7th grade and I realized that there are many other people out there that have experienced the same things I have and have done so many great things because of it. And so if you are being bullied, you're being intolerated, know that you can do great things even if people are bullying you, and using your experiences as well, because you can be a role model if you do get over it and when you do get over it. Whenever I go into a school, my hope is that when I leave, the students are left with a message of embracing their differences and living loud. And living loud is the title of my speech, and it really means being yourself and being proud of who you are. It means waking up every day and making the best of what you have, and being able to show everything that makes you yourself to others. And I'm only at schools for a day at most, and my goal is that my message stays in that school for days, weeks, months, years to come, and the people in that school are embracing each other's differences and seeing themselves as the best possible way that they can. Some amazing things that have come out of the Tolerance Fair, which is an event that's trying to bring people together, are some joint collaboration efforts. One that's really big with me and really sticks out is the collaboration between my organization, Honor Good Deeds, and the Dancing Wheels Company with their production of Daring to be Dumbo, which has gotten me to be where I am in this chair right now with the documentary. And it's also, I was able to introduce Dumbo at one of its premieres, which was beyond amazing. It was an amazing night that really made it so everybody that was there didn't feel different. They just were there to enjoy an amazing play. And the collaboration between Honor Good Deeds and Dancing Wheels has really brought a lot of people together to see whether it's the differences in others that aren't bad, because it's something that you can use to strive. I mean, I am nowhere near as skilled at dancing as these people in Dancing Wheels are, and they're not letting their differences, whether it's physical, of being in a wheelchair, stop them. And it's amazing to see the limits that are broken, that people do connect in a way at the Tolerance Fair.
Alex Simon experienced a devastating loss. when his best friend died by suicide while in high school. He expresses his desire to turn this life-altering experience into programs that help build esteem in schools and prisons.
I'm a percussionist by trade, self-taught pretty much. I was an athlete in college, high school, all my whole life. My mother was a fashion coordinator. She put on a lot of fashion shows as a kid, a lot of gospel shows, and I used to watch her backstage put shows on, and I was like, man, I want to be on stage one day. And then I auditioned for the off-Broadway show Stomp, and I remember getting to Boston first, Cambridge, and New York City, and everything, and just checking the scenery out. And so then I went to New York and auditioned for the show, and I seen about 1,100 people in line. I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna get picked for this. But before I even auditioned, I had to make money on the streets of New York City, playing percussion. I came across two gentlemen, Larry Wright, the first bucket drummer ever, and William Johnson. William Johnson kind of like took me under his wing like a little brother and showed me how to make money the right way in New York City. Like I said on my other film, a lot of people call it busking, but in New York City they call it hitting on the street. So that's what I had to do to make it and make a living in New York before I even auditioned for the show. And then I auditioned for Stomp, and they said, we're only taking 8 people. I'm like, wow, there's people from Africa, Brazil, LA, Atlanta, Chicago, great drummers. Like, I'm not gonna get picked. So I stood in line and just waited for my turn. And then you have to make it through a week of auditions, and then that Friday I got the call, and that was it. It was history after that, and been doing the show, 10 years now. When I come across bullying, the word bullying, it's funny because it takes me back to my best friend, Terry Ford. And the reason why I came off Stomp is to do bullying assemblies all over the world. My best friend, Terry Ford, was 16 years old. He committed suicide because people picked on him because I wasn't around. So that kind of took a toll on me. And I remember I was in Peru, in Lima, Peru, in my hotel room on tour, and I remember calling my mom and saying, Mom, I'm done. I'm done with the tour. I'm gonna come back home and do these school assemblies, get my band together, make a strong band, and say my message through music where you catch people's attention. And it's funny because the people that bully somebody usually are smart and talented. So all we have to do is just pull them in and say, hey, try this. Takes their mind off of it. But I always tell people the quietest person in the room is the strongest. Quietest person in the room is the strongest. Make people not figure you out. And if somebody is bullying you, you tell them, say, hey, I love you. They won't know how to take it. I don't care if they talk about you every day. You stand tall and say, hey, God bless you, and smile at them. They'll drift away. Hey, you're not good. You're ugly. You're ugly. Ah, look at you. Hey, man, God bless you. They won't know what to do. I mean, that's just being honest. They won't know what to do at all. There's a difference between getting made fun of and being bullied. Made fun of, like, oh, he made fun of me one day. Okay, and then I never seen him again. Bullied, my job is I'm gonna come get you every time. At a certain time, when I see you, I'm gonna embarrass you in front of people. So I tell kids, hey, tell your teacher, if they don't do nothing, go to the principal directly and stand tall and say, I'm not leaving till I talk to him. I need to talk to you. You can't just let it go. And us adults, and I'm telling, like I said, teachers, any adult, you have to, if a child is coming to you saying, hey, I need help, you have to take the time out and do it. We cannot brush them off, because when we brush them off, that's when it's like, okay, they turn it loose. And then when something happens, that's when everybody wants to cry and get all sad and say, man, and beat themselves up. Well, it's right in front of your face.
We'll be right back with Daring to be Dumbo, the documentary.
Cuyahoga Arts and Culture is proud to support this documentary through its Creative Culture Grants Program, which was created to increase access to vibrant arts and cultural activities for all Cuyahoga County residents. Cuyahoga Arts and Culture's mission is to inspire and strengthen the community by investing in arts and culture. To learn more about our work as the public funder for arts and culture in Cuyahoga County, visit cacgrants.org.
We now return to Daring to be Dumbo, the documentary.
Tina Kovacs watched her students transform during a 6-week residency program with the Dancing Wheels Company, a program that, as she put it, humanized them.
I've been a Cleveland Metropolitan School District teacher for 24 years and an elementary teacher in almost 4th and 5th the entire time. I became a teacher because I feel that I owe a debt to my middle school teacher, Ken Rowan, big, tough Navy SEAL, never crack a smile kind of guy. But I was having a very difficult time in middle school, and there were a lot of things going on at home. And I remember I got a detention, and it was so difficult to make it to the detention. And I, of course, missed the detention and got more and more. And that one event caused him to take a closer look at me and to go a little deeper in my background. And what he did is he started mentoring me. And then when I moved to the high school, he moved to the high school. I mean, who does that? And then he followed me all the way to senior year. So, I think I owe him a debt, and that I owe it to my students. Working with Dancing Wheels through our VSA Ohio grant made a huge, huge impact on my students. I've actually never seen anything like it, ever. And I've been in Cleveland for, 24 years. Never, ever would I think in a million years that they would change that much. But I knew that we were getting 2 third-grade classrooms, and they're going to be combined, and there were going to be about 47 kids, huge. And I also knew that they didn't get along very well, and there was a lot of girl drama, a lot of neighborhood drama, things that were going to pull into the classroom, and I wanted something that we could use as an outlet just for their anger, some way to practice where they would learn teamwork, where they would learn how to move as part of a group. One of the best parts of dance was the fact that when Emma worked with them or worked a routine, it was she'd do it, then they do it. She'd do it, and they do it. And it just strengthened how they made connections in their brain. And you could just see, if you look at footage from the beginning of the grant and you look at it afterwards, you could just see a complete change in them. Their grades went up, which I didn't think would happen because we were taking away from class time 50 hours to go to dance. But their grades just across the board went up. They became stronger students. And at the very end, at the last performance, there was a girl who was the biggest bully in her class last year, and there was a girl who was the most bullied in her class last year. And the girl that was a bully was doing the hair of the girl that was a bully. And never in a million years would I think that they would bridge that gap, that they would be able to move past tolerating each other's existence, which they didn't for years, to the point where they would actually help each other and rely on each other and show genuine care and concern for each other. We have a saying right now on my laptop that I show in school, and it has that everybody has baggage, and that you can't tell what someone's baggage is just by looking at them. You have no idea what their baggage is. And we just read last year a book by Sharon Draper that addresses that. And it addressed a girl that was wheelchair bound, but brilliant. And you wouldn't know she was brilliant because they never took an opportunity to talk to her. That book really changed the direction of my classroom and the way that they talked to each other and then the way that they dealt with each other and how they filtered what they're going to say to each other, because they really think, I do have baggage, and I wouldn't look at this girl that looks perfect and think that she would have baggage, but you know what, she does, and I need to just be nicer to people around me because I don't know if I'm going to be the one that pushes them over the edge.
These 5 brave people witnessed bullying in and around their lives and chose to take a positive path to eradicating this form of social injustice in their world. By now, you might be asking the most significant question of all: what can I do to change all this? Thoughts immediately race through your mind. I'm only one person. What difference can I make? What if others gang up on me? I keep to myself and I'm comfortable with that. I watch TV shows and I don't hurt anyone else. I actually had something happen to me early in my life keeps me from thinking about that. I was ostracized because of my weight, and so I've always been very, very sensitive to the needs and the feelings of others. We can make a difference, single-handedly or collectively. So join me and our friends in pledging to stand up to bullying.
I was pushed. I was called a name. I was bullied. I am mad. I am scared. I am a bully. I will stand up to bullies.
Follow us on Twitter at #AcceptAll.
Life is a maze of relationships. The Girl Scout, a maze program, helps middle school girls maneuver through the twists and turns to find true friendships, plenty of confidence, and strategies to resolve conflicts. Help a girl you know be a better friend. Find better friends and find the right words to stop bullying once and for all. The Diversity Center of Northeast Ohio provides national leadership in the battle against racism, bias, and bigotry by empowering individuals to build on the strength of diversity and by creating communities where all people are connected, respected, and valued. The center promotes understanding and respect through facilitated conversations, simulations, and hands-on activities. Did you know that each year the Diversity Center reaches an average of 10,000 students and youth, serving educators through programs, conferences, retreats, and customized workshops?
The preceding program was presented by